Welcome to this week's Hero Stream. We took a week off and looks like we're going to be doing every other week for a little while, but we're happy to have you all back. And I imagine we're all equally excited to find out what happens with our cliffhanger from last week. We'll give everyone a little bit of time to trickle in as we're just getting started and maybe review the state of things. So let's see, what do we have? There's a bit of a menagerie that exploded upon the scene. We were trying to entreat the spirits of a grove, I believe, to help us find some mana crystals for our construction project. And at first, I think we had some failed attempts to be diplomatic, and it kind of fell on deaf ears. But we then took a more humble approach and did some, oh, hey, thanks for joining, Timuni, and we're glad to have you. And yeah, so we went for more of a humble naturalist approach. Let's plant seedlings and blend in. And that seemed to go rather well. And then there's a glimmer around the trees and an intensifying sense of momentum. And then a figure approaches from the edge of the clearing, a wandering merchant garbed in vibrant robes emerging, flanked by a small menagerie of exotic creatures. That's where it got interesting. Mischievous pixies riding on the backs of miniature dragons. This person seems like a VIP. And a sleepy owlbear cub nestled within his satchel. I think there's only one way to respond. That is the cutest thing I have ever seen. Let's start with some honest emotions from Ophelia. And to recap, we have Eldon, Ophelia, and Calypso are our main characters. We have a hodgepodge of other creatures and characters. It's a little hard to keep track right now. We have Aaron, who's a part of our core group from a junkyard that we are based out of somewhat nearby. Muriel is a fairy herbalist or a fey herb enthusiast in any case. And who else do we have? I suppose, yeah, this new character, all we know is that they're the wandering merchant. So Calypso, Eldon, and Muriel return their attention to Ophelia as she gazes upon a fluffy owlbear cub nestled among the exotic wares of the wandering merchant. The little creature, curious and seemingly unafraid, toddles closer to Ophelia, its big round eyes peering up at her with innocent wonder. The merchant, noticing Ophelia's excitement, approaches with a welcoming smile. Ah, you have an eye for rare creatures, he says warmly. This one indeed is a heart stealer. Found him abandoned in the northern woods. He's been a companion on my travels ever since. Feel free to pet him. He's quite friendly. The owlbear cub, encouraged by the merchant's words, waddles a tad closer, its tiny wings fluttering as if he's trying to prove a point about being approachable. And around them, the evening air of Larian Forest carries a symphony of sounds from the merchant's menagerie, adding a touch of enchantment to the already mystical atmosphere. I feel like we're getting distracted from our quest, but can't look away from the cute. Okay. Oh, Spectral Mechanics Muse. What did that do again? Got this new custom perk for Ophelia last time. Spectral Mechanics Muse. When activated, Ophelia channels her deep knowledge of automata, momentarily causing, resonating, it's like a disruptive tech glow nova. Interesting. I think right now we just want to pet the owlbear. Keep it simple, It's cute. Pet it. So we've got to look for favors from the old guardians, as well as deal with this new incoming character, this wandering merchant. I think we need to ask about mischievous pixies on the backs of miniature dragons a little bit more. I feel like that's been glazed over, but it's a key detail, perhaps. How does that happen to someone? I'll ask next. Maybe Calypso or Eldon can chime in. Sir, I don't mean to interject, but how did you come to be surrounded by miniature dragon riding pixies? That seems there's like a story. The owlbear cub nuzzles into Ophio's touch, its soft fur tickling her fingers. Curious and playful, the cub turns its head to lightly nibble at her beak, or at her sleeve with its beak, pardon, emitting a series of contented chirps. The merchant, a grizzled man with a warm smile named Bartram, watches the exchange with clear delight. You have a way with creatures, miss. Bartram, oh, we have a name now. Bartram comments, his voice rough but genial. This little one's been a bit shy with others, but seems to fancy you. Ophelia finds herself smiling back, enjoying the company of the creature, and around her the various sounds of the menagerie mix with the gentle rustle of leaves in the twilight breeze, creating an atmosphere filled with life and gentle wonder. Bartram then motions towards his other eccentric collection invitingly. I've got more critters. I've got tales and trinkets from all across the lands. If something catches your fancy, let's strike a bargain. Oh my gosh, do we get to purchase sweet creatures? As Ophelia continues to engage with the owlbear cub, her companions observe the scene. Their expressions vary. Calypso with interest in the exotic animals, Eldon assessing Bartram's collection with scholarly intrigue, and Muriel's eyes scanning for any herbs that might. I guess we're having a shopping episode. Okay. Muriel's eyes scanning for any herbs that might complement the ones she had just found. Okay. Eldon Eldon needs to ask about the fairies in particular. Then we can do some shopping maybe. Eldon pipes in. Good sir. However, maybe, yeah. However, did you come by an escort of dragon riding pixies? Furthermore, how are those dragons so tiny? Most adorable. Pardon my input lag here. Let's see what we can do. Oop, moves and letters. 1, 2, 3. Most adorable. Yeah, let's try that. We've got to ask. And then there's so many different pieces of the puzzle here. We could shop in 4 different directions. We could ask about these exotic animals. I wonder what Eldon's scholarly intrigue is. Maybe there's trinkets. We should allow Muriel to ask for herbs. I do believe there is built-in support for a companion merging with our party in case we want to bring on Muriel full-time. I haven't tried that yet in the UI though, so that might be something we experiment with today. Okay, so Eldon pipes in our text, and as Eldon's curiosity bubbles to the surface, he can't help but address Bartram, the wandering merchant with a warm smile. Good sir, however did you come by an escort of dragon-riding pixies? Furthermore, how are they so tiny, most adorable? Yes, yes. Bartram's eyes sparkle with delight upon hearing Eldon's enthusiastic questions. He places a hand compassionately upon the head of the owlbear cub and turns to face Eldon, his voice filled with a performative gusto suitable for recounting tales of wonder. Ah, the drakelings you refer to are a rare breed indeed. They hail from the deep caverns of the Grey Keeps, where the mists of enchantment are thick. As for the pixies, we cross paths in the Moonglade Forest. They are enamored by the drakelings, naturally, and I, an entrepreneurial spirit, an opportunity for an alliance. Bartram explains, lifting one of the minuscule creatures up upon his palm. This is so cool. They're more than mere mascots, they're companions and friends. Well, how respectable. And as he concludes, one of the drakelings emits a puff of smoke the size of a thimble. Much to the amusement of the pixies, who twirl around it, their tiny laughs harmonizing with the magical ambiance of the clearing. This is just charming as all heck. All right. Um, Ophelia uses. Oh, I can't use fledgling historian to speak pixie. That's unfortunate. Um, do I have anything that will let me? No. Okay, interesting. Let's explore our party situation then. Okay. So we have our party. Interesting. Nothing new here. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. We don't have any perk points on Calypso. I don't think we have any perk points on Alden yet. That'll be cool when we get there. All right. Hmm. Well, what could we? Perhaps we could. Let's ask the pixies if they know about the old guardians. That might further our goals a little bit. This scene is amazing. The wheezing drakeling and the giggling pixies. I need that as a living room painting pronto. Here are my characters. Bartram, the wandering merchant. Cub, pixies, mini dragons. I feel like there's a crystal fox earlier too. There's too much joy to track in this glade. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit for legibility. Ophelia steps lightly towards the chattering cluster of pixies, her curiosity illuminated by a twinkle in her eye akin to their own shimmering wings. Holding out her hand as a sign of peaceful intent, she addressed them with a gentle voice, respectful of their whimsy and wildness. Kind sylphs of the moon glade, Ophelia begins, her manner suggesting a sincere quest for wisdom. I seek your ancient knowledge. Have your dances through time and leaf whispered you to the tales of the old guardians of this forest? The, the pixies cease their frolic, and tiny faces turn to regard Ophelia with an assortment of expressions ranging from fascination to playful suspicion. When boldly adorned with flecks of golden lichen, flutters forward, its delicate wings leaving iridescent trails in the air. The guardians, human crafty? It chirps in a voice as soft as the rustle of the leaves, its head tilting ever so slightly. Yes, yes, we know of the wise and old, the strong and the bold, the young and the restless. The silent watchers in root and bark, and its companions nod and murmur in agreement, eager to share fragments of lore entwined within the heartwood of their home. Um, how wonderful, says Ophelia. We were hoping for their guidance. Whoops. Hoping for, yeah, their guidance and blessing on our search for mana crystals. I feel like we need to share with the pixies. We're being too one directional. You can't have a transactional relationship with frolicking wild air spirits. I'm gonna have to have some kind of offering or frenzy type of engagement. But maybe they'll just tell us some tales and learn from their ancient knowledge about the old guardians. All right. The pixies flitter around Ophelia playfully, their wings shimmering with an iridescence that paints fleeting rainbows in the air. One of them, bolder than the rest, lands on a nearby leaf, tilting its head as Ophelia speaks of the old guardians and her quest for mana crystals. In a voice like the tinkling of tiny bells, the pixie says, "Old guardians strong, old guardians wise, listen they do." Get a bit of a Yoda vibe. To heart that tries, for seekers of crystals, mana's own light, prove your worth in guardian's sight. Okay, I feel like this is a quest clue. Seekers of crystals, mana's own light, prove your worth in the guardians of light. How do we do that? Ophelia contemplates the pixie riddle-like advice while Calypso examines Bartram's intricately crafted wares, and Eldon's gaze remains fixed on the grove's mystical heart. Muriel, hearing the words of the pixie, nods in agreement, suggesting a demonstration of good intentions may be necessary to enlist the aid of the ancient spirits. Okay, what if we ask Bartram, who's obviously adjacent to mystical rainforests, for something extra special to plant in the grove? Maybe that's the angle we take here. Oh, okay. He's on top of this. He's about to upsell us. The merchant Bartram, overhearing the conversation, leans in with curiosity sparkling in his eyes. Mana crystals, you say? A rare and precious commodity indeed. If the guardians favor you, perhaps I might assist you in your pursuit. It's been told that such crystals can sometimes be found where the veil between realms is thin. That kind of makes sense. Okay, so let's accept the quest. We finished Brewer's Guidance Part 1. Oh yeah, we were gonna switch between characters because I think we're like close to leveling on our other characters. I think experience is shared, but I still feel like maybe we get a little bit more for having a main action. That sounds most intriguing. That sounds most intriguing. Did I spell it? Oh, yeah. Intrigue. It's a crafty word. Here we go. Let's fix it up. That sounds most intriguing. Where might that be? Do you have any special seeds or seedlings we might plant as an offering to the grove? Too many apps. There we go. All right. Let's be respectful, curious, see how it goes. Brewer's Guidance Part 1. Let's go check that out in the quest log, maybe. Part 1 is gone now. Part 2, gain Bartram's assistance. It's kind of our vibe right now. It's kind of implicitly what we're trying to do. Engage with Bartram, this new merchant, to learn more about his knowledge, his mana crystals, and potential assistance. Alright. Calypso turns to Bartram, his curiosity piqued by mentions of areas where magical energies gather. That sounds most. I gotta go dwarf mode. That sounds most intriguing. That's too Decker-Kane. I'll find my dwarf. Where might that be? Do you have any special seeds or seedlings we might plant as an offering to the grove? He asks, hoping to appease the spirits of the grove and aid in their quest for the mana crystals. Bartram strokes his beard thoughtfully and smiles at Calypso's earnestness. Ah, one must simply follow the flows of mana like rivers of light unseen to most. Oh, okay. Invisible light lines. That's cool. The Fey creatures dance on these tides, and where they linger, the energy is strongest, he explains with a wistful tone, suggesting personal experience. Wait a minute. Has Bartram surfed on the lights before? Jealous. Okay. Delving into his varied stock with a showman's fish, Bartram produces a small clay pot containing a vibrant sapling whose leaves shimmer in the moonlight. This is a starlight sapling, rare and preferred by the guardians. Planting it would be a generous gift to the grove. I dare say a step towards earning their favor. For a mere 5 gold pieces, it's yours to offer. Do we have that? Let's let me just check my ATM. Oh, we do. Okay, we're good. Uh, I'll give you 10. Wait, no. I'll give you 5 for the sapling and 5 for more advice on how we might perceive these uh, fabled tides of Fey Realm Light. That seems fair. A little bit of money for an offering, a little bit of money for advice. Starlight sapling. I feel like we planted something else before. What did we plant? We were brewing ale. Oh, are we back at the bottom now? Let's see. Callisto reached a pouch tied to his belt, the coins clinking softly within. He counts out 5 gold pieces and hands them to Bartram. The merchant's eyes lighting up at the sight of gold. Okay, Bartram is in it for the money. For the sapling, Calypso states firmly with a friendly tone, then flips another 5 gold coins in his hands, catching the light of the torches nearby. Oh, very, very measured. And this, he continues, for your advice on how we can detect these mystical currents of fey magic. Bartram pockets the first payment and examines the second with a nod. Very well, he says, eyeing the shimmering coins. The energies. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining in. He counts out 5 golden coins and catches the lights of the torches nearby. And this he continues. Okay, so we're back to Bartram, and he says, very well, eyeing the shimmering coins. The energies of the Fey realm are fickle and often hidden to untrained senses. To perceive them requires an eyesight. You must feel the pulse of the land, the sigh of the trees, and the whispers of the wind. Some say that areas rich in life and natural vigor will have stronger flows. Others that places of ancient power are where boundaries are thin. He takes a slow breath, leaning closer. Yet fey creatures are drawn to such sights like moths to a flame. Perhaps by observing their habits, you might learn what they seek. Okay. Calypso nods, taking in the wisdom. We've got the starlight sapling. Nice. Let's save the sapling for now and observe the fey creatures using our quick action. It seems like we've got a few fey creatures, so they might, in their wildness, give us a clue. I feel like our intents are pretty noble so far. It's not like we want to cut down Fern Gully for unobtainium or anything. We're trying to be civil. And yeah, there's the sapling in our inventory. Cool, cool. Calypso turns his keen dwarven senses to the task at hand. Observing the fey creatures frolicking around the magical grove, the pixies dance through the air with a whimsical grace, while the owlbear cub wanders about. Oh, it walks now? Curiously sniffing at the vibrant plant life, snoodily. The forest is teeming with life, and the subtle signs of magical energies are more pronounced here. Calypso watches as clusters of pixies flits toward a particularly lush part of the grove where the flowers grow with an otherworldly light. Okay. The air shimmers ever so slightly in an indication of magical potency. The way these tiny sprites are drawn into these areas could be the clue Calypso needs to locate the mana-rich sites within the forest. By observing these patterns, Calypso begins to pick up on the natural ebb and flow of the mana in the environment. It appears that the starlight sapling in its possession may attract even more attention from the Fae if planted in such an area, potentially signaling the strength of the magical currents there to the guardians of the groves. As Calypso ponders his next move, Eldon leans closer, curiosity piqued by the door's focus. If you notice something important, friend, what do your observant eyes see? He asks, eager to understand what might be gleaned from the Fae's behavior. Okay, so like explain our observations to Eldon while planting the starlight sapling in the special, what was it called again? In the otherworldly light, maybe? Yeah, let's call it that. Otherworldly light. So we can share our strategy a bit here. I like how Calypso just found out how this all works and is like leaning over Eldon. Eldon, everyone knows this about veils between worlds. Clearly, they're flitting close to it, and it's the sacred spot where we need to win the favor of the Guardians by planting this tree we just purchased. Stop asking silly questions. Okay. Sweet. So Calypso kneels on the soft earth. The starlight sapling cradled gingerly in his weathered hands. Cool. And starts to dig a small hole in a patch of ground bathed in the ethereal light. Eldon the erudite watches with keen interest. Sensing the importance of the moment, Calypso looks up at him, sensing a teachable moment, his face lit by the gentle glow of the sapling. Eldon begins instantly an expert, his voice low and resonant. Throughout this grove, everything the light touches is sacred ground. If you watch closely, you'll see that the pixies flutter towards spots where the flowers shine with an inner light and the air itself seems to dance with magic. These signs, the shimmer we see now, could be the path to the mana-rich lands we seek. Fields upon fields of unobtainium. He places the sapling into the hole, carefully covers the roots with soil, and as he pats the ground down, he continues, by planting the sapling here, we not only honor the grove, but create a beacon for the Fae. It's a gesture of goodwill, and perhaps it'll help us uncover more secrets of these woods. Eldon nods in appreciation, the flickering light reflecting in his eyes, counting all the dollar signs, as he stands by to see what their offering would bring. The grove remains silent except for the occasional rustle of leaves, as if the forest is holding its breath, watching Calypso visual with bated anticipation. Uh, Well, okay. We start to dig. We cover the roots with soil. What do we do to seal the deal? we can't use any attacks. We really don't need a forge. I don't think we need. Maybe Eldon can help actually. Use beginner's knife to find a water source for the newly planted offering and bring some to it. There we go. Eldon can be useful. Doesn't have to watch. Okay, so Eldon is cluing in to the goals of the grove, using one of his perks to find water nearby. Hopefully nice kind of fairy Evian, not just standard external world water. Oh hey, we leveled up. That's too cool. Alden the erudite, aware of new life he and his companions have introduced to the grove, feels a gentle pull towards the practical needs of their starlight sapling. He closes his eyes and focuses on invoking his beginner's luck, trusting in his latent ability to sustain the symbol of their endeavor. As he opens his eyes, they fall upon a delicate trail, one that only a ranger with his particular instincts could discern. He follows the trail, the ground beneath his boots growing gradually more moist with each step. The allure of the hidden grove guides him, weaving through the trees while he's going far, until he hears the soft babble of water. Just ahead, a humble stream trickles through the grove, its crystal clear water catching the twilight's embrace. Alden stoops through the water's edge by cupping his hands, collecting the cool liquid before making his way back to where the sapling thirsts in the opalescent glimmer of the grove. The adjectives are top-notch. As Eldon approaches the starlight sapling, he pours the water around its base with a care that seems to be acknowledged by an approving rustle from the tree canopy above. Good. The sapling leaves quiver, as if to reach for the offered nourishment, and a pixie drawn by the tender act flits close, her curiosity piqued by the water's gleam. As it seeps into the soil and sapling's roots drink deeply. Okay, cool. So Eldon the erudite has found a water source to nourish the starlight sapling, an act that may contribute to the guardian's favor. Your tracking skill has leveled from 6 to 7, and we're now level 3. Let's go check it out. Character, Eldon, perks. Do we have custom perks? Yes, we do. Okay, we've got one. Whisper of the Wild. Upon hearing the unsettling silence in the forest, Eldon calls upon his deep understanding of nature to whisper to the wildlife. Trees shake suddenly to create a distraction. The direction of the flower suddenly shifts, and small creatures rustle, all providing Eldon. Okay, it's kind of like another distraction area of effect one. We'll take it. Unique perks are too cool not to grab right now. All right. I think we should probably bow deeply to the pixie in reverence, perhaps. Okay, so Eldon Erudite approaches the curious pixie with grace and a heartfelt sense of respect. He bows deeply, his gesture full of reverence, acknowledging the pixie's mysterious and magical nature. The diminutive fey creature hovers in the breeze, her wings fluttering like the starlight sapling's leaves, emitting a soft sparkle that reflects the light of the grove. As Eldon rises from his bow, eyes twinkling with fascination, the pixie circles around him, an intricate dance of curiosity and delight. She then alights on the supple bough of the thriving starlight sapling. Hail, human guardian! She trills in chime-like tone, her voice barely louder than the murmur of the wind. What brings you to the realm of the whispering leaves and starlight blossoms? Oh, okay. We've got an intro. Let's do this. Uh, Hail, divine spirit. Okay. We uh, we we seek, I want to say, audience in your grove, so that we may, to phrase this right, we've got one elevator pitch here, so that we may prove ourself, I would say, worthy? Prove ourselves worthy of mana crystal to power a sanctuary for our community. That's kind of true. It's also a weapon of war, but we won't go into that right now. Uh, okay. So we have a bit of a diplomatic conversation going on with the fairy creatures. Okay, so Elven Erudite stands before the starlight sapling. Pretty cool scene. The air around him shimmering with a latent pulse of magic inherent within the grove. With an earnest voice that helps carry his plea to the unseen guardians of this realm. He calls out, "Hail, divine spirits! We seek audience in our groves so that we may prove ourselves worthy of a mana crystal to power a sanctuary for our community." His words, though heartfelt, seemed to. Oh, I critically failed. Oh no, I didn't notice. Okay, here we go. His his words, though heartfelt, seemed to dissipate into the ether, falling to the solid anchor in the mystical forces he intended. But there's a fleeting moment of tension in the balance of the grove, awaiting a single breath. It's not a catastrophe that follows his plea, but rather a profound quietude that embodies the serenity of the grove itself. It's then that the curious pixie who had been mesmerized by Eldon's care for the sapling flutters forward. The tiny creature's wings beat uh, a rhythm that seems to stir the glimmering atmosphere, and she tilts her head, considering Eldon with an ancient gaze that belies her diminutive form. "Young steward," the pixie chimes, her voice sounding like the wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Mere words cannot tilt the scale of worthiness, yet your actions stir whispers of the leaves and murmurs of the roots. Perhaps there is more to be discovered by the hands that tend than the lips that ask." Whoa, these pixies are deep. What do we do? All right. What do we got? What else can we do? Bertram's got to have something. Uh, okay. You're right. Of course. I'm gonna say maybe actually Calypso could chime in here to kind of break the mood up. Okay. You're right, of course. Mere words uh, can't offset a request so broad. And Bertram, or is it Bartram? Yeah, sorry, Bartram. Like to trade all of my worldly possessions and gold for uh, as many creatures and plants, as many creatures and plants that you'll approve of. To be free. To be free here, maybe. Okay, too free. It's a bit of a long action. It'll work. Uh, Calypso, considering the weight of Eldon's plea, yeah, it was good that we changed. Good that we changed people. Got a good cop, bad cop. Well, I mean, all kind of good cops. And the wisdom in showing true dedication to the Grove turns to Bartram with a solemn expression. You're right, of course. Mere words can't offset a request so broad, he says, his voice carrying the firm resolve of one prepared to make a significant sacrifice. Bartram, I would like to trade all of my worldly possessions in gold, Calypso continues, for as many creatures and plants that you'll approve of, to free them here in this grove. Oh, good. It picked up my attention. Excellent. The words hang in the air for a moment, heavy with the magnitude of his offer. And Bartram regards Calypso with a newfound respect. Taken aback by the depth of Calypso's commitment, the merchant strokes his beard thoughtfully, sizing up the dwarf warrior before him. A noble proposition, Master Dwarf, Bartram replies, but set aside your wares. Liberation isn't a transaction, but a bond of respect with the wild. Your intent is clear, and that speaks than any bargain. Instead of engaging in trade, Bartram walks over to a cluster of caged critters and starts assessing which ones would thrive best when released into the grove. Uh, he opens one enclosure to reveal a couple of vibrant feathered birds, wings fluttering excitedly. These will serve your purpose without cost, he announced towards Calypso. I think it's time for a tongue-in-cheek moment. Okay, so Calypso is unspeakably grateful. Accepts the bird with a solemn nod and dramatically releases them, saying under his breath, I'm being so super sincere right now. Will this unlock the forest mysteries? Calypso carefully takes each bird from Merchant Bartram, feeling the delicate weight of the life in his hands, and as he releases them one by one, their wings catch the moonlight as they ascend to the night sky. He watches them disappear into the freedom of the dark canopy, uttering softly to himself, I'm being so super sincere right now. His voice, a delicate murmur of reverence mixed with an undercurrent of dry humor that only those who know him well enough would recognize. And with the birds now flitting towards the grove, the curious pixie that witnessed Eldon watering the starlight sapling flutters closely to the party, intrigued by the latest act of kindness. Her wings shimmer like the evening stars, and her eyes hold centuries of the forest secrets. She twirls in the air, the glow of her casting dancing lights upon the party's faces. Liberators of winged kin, she begins with a voice like chime bells. You show hearts free of sin. Among these trees a secret I may share, a hidden spring where manna rests pure and fair, but only to stony kin who tend the land. Reveal I will the spring's soft strand. And she points a tiny finger towards Eldon, acknowledging his stewardship with the starlight sapling. Wait, can only Eldon go? Whoa. Okay. I'm just what kind of caught me on that one? I just don't know what makes Eldon stony kin, but I think we'll just go with it. Oh, stony kin who tend the land. I guess that's I. Okay. Um, let's try. Okay, so Calypso. Let's try this way. Calypso. I can type Calypso, Ophelia, and Muriel purchase more to plant in the ethereal light so they can join Eldon as tenders of the land. That way we don't have to split the party, maybe. Calypso leads the way back to Bartram. His steady dwarven stride kept getting a comforting rhythm on the forest floor. Ophelia and Muriel follow, their minds buzzing with collective excitement as their newfound endeavor of stewards of the land. They reach the merchant's clearing, where Bartram, surrounded by his remaining curious menagerie, greets them with a knowing smile. Back so soon. I trust you've planned more than just a casual stroll through my grove, Bartram and Kit jests, eyeing their determined faces. We wish to purchase more seedlings, Calypso said firmly. Not merely to seek mana, but to tend the land with Eldon. It will be a shared duty, a covenant with the grove. Whoa, we're like junkyard grove tending rabble rousers. Bartram nods approvingly, rummaging through his wares before producing several pots brimming with young, radiant plants. The starlight saplings are yours, for the grove recognizes those who come with pure intent, he asserts, holding out the saplings. Nice. After exchanging their request gold coins, Calypso, Ophelia, and Muriel carefully take possession of the plants, cradling them like precious stones. Uh, with the transaction complete, they begin planting the saplings in places kissed by ethereal light, feeling a profound connection to the earth as they engage in the stewardship. Okay, now we'll hit them back with Eldon. So Eldon approaches the pixie, asking if they stand equal now as stony kin. If she approves, may maybe we can visit the Mana Spring. The Mana Spring sounds cool. I wonder if it's like a water pathway between dimensions kind of thing. Eldon the Erudite stands in the gentle light of the grove, surrounded by the newly planted starlight saplings. With a sense of unity blossoming within him, he steps forward to address the pixie who had been observing their actions with a shimmering curiosity. He clears his throat and speaks in a respectful tone. Mighty guardian of this grove, do we now stand as kin in our dedication of these sacred grounds? If you find that we are true to our word and deeds, may we be worthy to visit the hidden mana spring you speak of. The pixie with iridescent wings of a butterfly and effervescent glow lands softly upon a nearby sapling. Her tiny features are etched with a thoughtful expression. Touched by Eldon's genuine resolve, she seems to ponder for a moment, her head tilted slightly as if listening to whispers only she can hear. Um, Finally, she speaks in that same musical voice that resonated with the magic of the land. Eldon of the Elden. She knows we're of the Elden Ring. It's amazing. I was not prepared for that reference to come back and haunt us. It's the best. Elden of the Elden Ring, your words carry weight, but it is your actions that sing truer than song. You and your companions have shown a rare reverence for life's tender weave here within the grove. And her eyes reflecting the sparkle of the starlight saplings lock with Eldon's in a silent understanding before she continues. Follow the trail that the fireflies dance upon as dusk falls. Oh wow, okay. We got persuasion, we got experience, we've got directions. Can we do we have anything to offer? Not really. We all bow deeply with murmurs of thanks and follow the fireflies at dusk. Let's try that. I mean, there's a lot of stepping around, but we've got some progression happening here. As the twilight casts a soft glow over the grove, Eldon and his companions, Calypso and Ophelia, express their gratitude to the pixie with respectful bows. Accompanied by the murmurs of thanks, the air is alive with the gentle hum of dusk and the scent of the earth rising as the day's heat fades. The fireflies begin their nightly dance, and their lights flickering like tiny stars against the encroaching darkness. Eldon leads following the bobbing lights of the fireflies with his companions close behind. Their path meanders through thickets and over streams caressed by the last kisses of sunlight. There is a quiet, palpable anticipation among them as they trend lightly, careful not to disturb the natural harmony of the grove. And after some time, they come upon an encircled clearing encircled by ancient trees, their massive roots entwined by flowering ivy. In the center lies a calm pool of water, reflecting the emerging stars above, and the surface of the pool ripples gently. Without a sound, the glimmering crystals begin to surface, emanating a soft, otherworldly light. It is a hidden spring, just as the pixies described, a secret oasis of magic and tranquility. Okay. Let's check this out. Cautiously relying on sense, respect, and intuition. Calypso moves to collect some mana crystals, eyeing Aaron for advice on what they might require for the siege engine. Is that what it was called? Yeah, Siege Secrets. Okay, so Calypso approaches the edge of the serene mana spring, its water shimmering with starlight reflecting the myriads of floating crystals. With a profound sense of respect for the sanctity of the grove, he pauses to take in the natural harmony of this enchanted place. He carefully extends his hand, reaching for one of the glimmering mana crystals just within reach, and as he does so, the crystal pulsates with a warm, gentle glow. The glow radiates outwards, and Calypso feels a resistance, as if the crystals were safeguarded by an unseen force, a reminder that sheer will is not enough to claim such potent magic. Throws back his hand and looks around for Aaron, then realizing he needs advice on how to properly collect these crystals, but Aaron notices Aaron is not present. Oh, I thought he was nearby, for sure. The crystals require a delicate and possibly specific magical approach to be harvested successfully. Alden observes Calypso's hesitation and suggests seeking out knowledge on how ancient Lyrian scholars might have harvested such enchanting resources. Ophelia nods in agreement, knowing their success could hinge on understanding the sacred art intertwined with these mystical elements. Nearby, the glowing red automaton had followed them into the grove, begins to mimic the pattern of the fireflies, its lights dancing a curious display, almost as if attempting to communicate with the shimmering mana. Maybe Ophelia can check in with the automaton using automatonish. And search her memories for studies of this nature. Ophelia watches the red glowing automaton mimic the fireflies, a flicker of curiosity dancing across his features, and with his background as an artificer and the innate understanding of relics, he recalls the study, she recalls? The study of ancient Lyrian scholars who also spoke to automatons using their language of wind gears and pulses. Standing before the automaton, feeling the connection grow, she conjures the unique syntax of automatonish from deep within her memories, and Ophelia coaxes out the words in the mechanical tongue, a series of carefully timed ticks and soft hums that resonate with the essence of the machine. His voice bends with the ambient grove sounds of the grove, as if whispering secrets only understood by constructs of gears and magic. The automaton responds, its crimson luminescence pulsating in tune with Ophelia's speech. It seems eager to engage, its metal legs moving with renewed purpose. Uh, hmm. Okay, and then Eldon ponders the inner working of the grove, and there's this deeper bond to be established here. The soft sounds alerts the party of another presence. Peering through the foliage, there's a small owl nearby, and its eyes reflect the magical glimmer of the spring. Hey, we got a legitimate skill up in the automatonish language from 1 to 2. It's becoming a real situation. Okay. Let's see. I feel like it's not going to give us these mana crystals easy, so let's see if we can take 1 or 2 more actions maybe to who has the best animal handling in order to connect with the wisdom of this owl, assuming it's like, you know, not just an owl, but something more. So we got 4 on Ophelia. Was it Eldon maybe or Calypso that had like wild animal handling? Let's check that out. I know someone was going strong on animal handling. Animal handling 3. Okay, Eldon for sure is the hero of this story when it comes to the farm animals. Let's do this. I know it's in there somewhere. Yes, animal handling level 14. And then using novice diplomat to entreat the owl to perch upon your wrist and share of its wisdom. Well, do I have any food to offer it? Fortunately not. We'll just try good old fashioned owl communication. Okay. Eldon the erudite, with his compassionate gaze fixed upon the perceptive owl, gently stretches out his arm towards it. Utilizing his novice diplomat perk, he calls upon his innate talent for wordplay and subtle persuasion. Friend of the forest, would you honor me with your presence on my arm? Eldon says softly, projecting a sincere respect for the creature's wisdom. Your eyes see much that remains hidden to us. I would be grateful for any knowledge you'd be willing to impart. The owl tilts its head, examining Eldon with curious yet knowing eyes, and it takes a silent moment of weighing his intentions, and then, with an almost imperceptible nod, the bird launches from its perch and glides through the air, landing gracefully on Eldon's extended wrist. The weight of its presence is light but meaningful. You seek guidance, the owl seems to say through some sullen gaze, but the depths are hinting at untold wisdom waiting to be revealed. Is that is that a cliffhanger? The owl says yes. The mana crystals have some subtle, invisible barrier. I think we made it through a lot today. It was pretty cool to meet Bertram, the merchant. He was very insightful and helpful, and had a lot of really cool odds and ends that he brought to the scene. Yeah, that was good. I think we might bookmark it there with this owl scene on our wrist and see if we can puzzle through how to get these mana crystals back to our junkyard and continue our doomsday device slash Airbnb slash robot machine next session. I think that'll be in 2 weeks, probably. Thanks everyone who was able to join in, and yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks for our next stream, and we'll continue seeing where this episode of Heroes takes us. Take care, all.